At Bravado, we don't just make cars, we make America. Farms, fields, football, and getting together with some old friends. It's a diner where the waitress knows your name and gives you a hand job. It's a parade down Main Street with children cheering as their parents' jobs get outsourced overseas to be done by illiterate kids. It's a slow-motion shot of your kids running happy on a beach, ignoring the dead mammals and stricken seabirds washing up from the latest oil spill. Our fires burn bright, especially when you're breaking apart furniture and burning it in a barrel to keep warm, while your wife turns tricks to buy food. We know America is hurting. We're in this together, which is why we want you to tell your congressman to approve our newest bailout. Bravado. United we stand. Together we fall.
What's the greatest decade in American history? The 1920s. We led the world in literature, aviation, music, and entertainment. Today, this country's a piece of dog shit. Let's bring back the glories of the jazz age by recreating the conditions that turned America into a superpower. The noble experiment is worth trying again. Vote yes on Proposition 14. Bring back prohibition and usher America into a new golden age.
On the inside, you're an adventurer, because nothing impresses people like having hobbies.
I want to get that outdoorsy vibe, but I'm not an outdoorsy person. I really hate nature.
On the outside, nothing impresses people like Crevice, the outdoor outfitter that gives you exciting hobbies and ensures you look the part. Hobbies aren't about doing something, they're about seeming interesting. Sports aren't about actually participating, it's about looking the part in the bar. Let's face it, guys into extreme sports could probably get a lot of chicks if they weren't self-absorbed turds.
Crevice.
We help you take the inside outside. Crevice, never stop pretending.
Bored but bossy? Desperate for power and upset nobody will listen to you? Keen to patronize? Try a career in human resources. Your job is to fire people or make them feel bad for telling funny jokes. Take the joy and pleasure out of the workplace. Work is called work for a reason. It shouldn't be fun. You'll have more power than management. Make people fill out long questionnaires about their feelings so you can sell the data or blackmail them at a later point. Get paid to snoop on employee email. Train for 3 evenings and you'll be qualified to begin an exciting career as a human resources professional. Contact Ovine Human Resources Academy today.
So this ammo is lying on the ground on 3rd Street. The ammo is lying on the ground all throughout the whole Saints Row area.
Now, you've been there?
There are a couple of, I'm an older man, I have needs.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's a nice butcher shop over there. You're saying you get some steaks? You get to go.
No, there are. I have a couple of lady friends.
Oh.
That live near there.
Oh.
And it's easier for me to go through the Saints Row area than it is to drive around it, because frankly, I'm not going to let them have that power over me.
Wow.
You know, I'm been in Stillwater my whole life. I'm not about to let that all go just because some ruffian, some Hispanic, some Latino, some black man with a gun and a bandana and a big thick fur coat that demands $300. I'm not going to let that happen.
You know, they actually closed the freckle bitches in that part of town.
They did.
They did, because
for a while,
because they were lying in wait in the drive-through, and they call it gaffling, I think is what they said. Like,
gaffling,
like gaffling, and they would swoop in when you got your food, and then they would put a gun in your face and take your food and your car. They would just swoop in, and you'd say you go and you stop in, you try to get a fist, you stop in to get a nice fist, or a chicken bazoom,
right?
And you order it, and then you pull up to the window, and bang. There's Undercover Leroy and his friends,
this is the result of violent video games.
Sure.
This is exactly what happens. And in the end, you know who's made out to be the bad guy? The white guy. Yeah. The older white guy. Always made to show that he's repeating himself.
Yeah.
That he's loud and he's boisterous. Not the minorities that are there stealing your bazoom from you from the freckle bitches drive-through.
Yeah, their gold fronts and then their taxi cab hats.
Yes. What is that?
It's like
I'm agreeing with you, but I don't know what that is.
It's sort of like a beret with a bill. You've never seen that sort of a hat. They call it a taxi hat.
Okay. Yes, I do.
Yeah,
it sort of sticks up in front.
Sure.
Like the Bowery Boys guy used to wear.
Absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
now I got
Mugs,
it.
I believe.
Mugs.
Yes. And then they wear their bucket hat. Which is like that gentleman from that television show that's still popular. Is it popular?
I don't know.
Good Times. What's his name? JJ.
Yes, JJ Walker.
Yeah. And they would wear that crazy bucket hat, and they also they pull a basketball over their head like that guy in the Fat Albert cartoon.
For someone who you're very well versed on this.
This
is what I love about working on the air with you, is that you are in touch with the youth of today, with the pop culture, with the youth culture.
Listen, you have to stay 2 steps ahead.
Have you played any of these games? I have to ask you.
I have. And here's why. I play these games because I think that it's my job to know what's happening. So then even because I imagine that these people are acting out scenarios from these games on the street. So if I'm...
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
If I'm confronted by some ruffians, and in my head I'll go, hey, I saw this taking place in one of those games, and I'll know...
So you're prepared for this?
Oh, certainly. I mean...
I'm sorry. You know what? I understand. I understand that you're frightened, that you live your life, in some cases... with a sense of fear, and that you're trying to prepare yourself, but I don't think that it's worth the price that you pay as an individual, as a human being, to allow these games to... Well, okay.
You are polluting your mind, there's no doubt, and I find I'm polluting my mind when I watch these games, but you go to confession. You go to confession that night, and you become absolved, and you talk about what you've seen.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You can just do that.
You unburden yourself.
You can just take care of it.
Absolutely, and it's just, I don't carry it with me.
Okay.
When I watch it, I'm horrified, and I have my face is a grin.
I've got a great idea.
What?
What if they took these violent video games, and they added, like you go through and you do your dirty work, whatever, and they added the sort of internet version of absolution, like you could connect up with some priest somewhere in like North Stillwater over the internet, and you could you could do your penance and your confessions and your Hail Marys and whatnot, and you could just be done with it.
I think that it's a brilliant idea. I do not think there are nearly enough children conversing with priests on the internet. I think
you don't?
We absolutely need to get them
I think
involved.
you're right. I think we need more of that.
If we can get our clergy and our children together, I think that's the key to saving them and keeping them out of these violent video games. I think they need to, maybe go and get a job at the rectory and play some volleyball with the priests and go ahead and rake leaves. Do anything they can to keep their, idle hands are the devil's business. Is that what it is?
Workshop.
Devil's workshop, something.
Yeah.
And we certainly don't want our children with idle hands, and we don't want them in the devil's workshop.
No.
So put them in God's workshop.
No.
And have them build birdhouses with Father Pete.
And I think that we should give our priests more to do with their hands as well.
Certainly.
Especially when it comes hands-on with our youth.
They should be absolutely hands-on with our kids, and they should go ahead and bring them, lead them, and they need to stroke them. They need to, comfort them, and they need to bring them closer and get as close as they possibly can.
More hugs.
Sure.
Less lugs.
Yeah.
I believe that's the case.
I agree.
Especially with our clergy and our kids.
Yeah, and these video games, another thing is they don't teach you anything about real life. Like I said, they constantly tell you that the white guy is the bad guy, and you'll hear that all over the place. But then, also, death has no real consequence in these games. I've played it, like I said, and if you wind up winging a chap while you're in the game, and you wind up planting him or putting him on the ground, he's dead, and you continue with your business. You almost step over his lifeless corpse just to continue with more of your bad deeds, and I don't think that's right.
What do you think should happen?
Well, I would add some sort of a real life element where they have to realize the consequences and they know what they've done. I mean, if you kill someone in a video game, you have to realize that he has a video wife and video kids that no longer have a video father, and you have to realize that they need video support.
There's a video home they live in. There's video food that has to be put on the table.
Right.
There's video jobs and video school.
Without a video father, how are these video kids going to stay off video drugs?
You bring up some very interesting points. I think what we need to do is we need to assemble the audience together. We need to talk to them en masse about all the things that we've discussed here today. And we need to do it in a public forum, not on the air. The air is great for sort of, getting things off our chest and so on. I think we need to take this down to Stillwater City Hall. We need to sit down with the fine Stillwater Police Department. We need to sit down with the council.
And I'm not saying go to a city council meeting and wait your turn at the podium to go ahead and bring this up. I demand a meeting. I demand that we bring listeners and ourselves and we get access to the highest levels of office and we bring our problems to them and we get solutions. We don't get just people talking at us. We don't get people talking in circles. We get action.
And if not, do we arm the populace?
I think the populace is already armed with the condition of the streets we have.
You think?
If they're not, they ought to be. I can tell you that I have a concealed weapons permit. I'm always armed.
Are you armed at this very moment?
I'm armed. I have several weapons on me at this very instant.
Really?
I have actually 2 separate knives. I have a blackjack. I have a sap, and I have an ankle holster with a Derringer. And then I have another gun that I quite frankly, it's none of your business where it is. I know we've been partners a long time, but just in case something happens and you go a little bananas, you get a little screwy, just know.
There's a weapon where you would least expect it.
There is nothing between that gun and me but air and opportunity.
Air and opportunity. Where have I heard that before?
And you know what?
What?
I'm all out of air.
Oh. With that, we'll be right back.
Read the incredible self-help book that's rewriting the rules on addiction. It's the hot new addiction everyone's talking about. It's sex addiction. Finally, you can shove personal accountability straight up your ass. Leonard Etcher's remarkable 13 Steps to Heaven.
Hi, I'm Leonard Etcher. Everyone's talking about it. Nobody knows what it is. Now, thanks to 13 Steps to Heaven, here's your chance to join me and become a fully blown sex addict. All the glamour of personal problems without health risks or loneliness. Guys, let's be honest. The difference for most men between being a sex addict or not is opportunity. My book will explain the myths and realities of sex addiction in an honest and easy to understand way. I'll teach you how to juggle multiple partners at once and blame your complete lack of morality and personal accountability on an addiction that doesn't exist.
Pick up 13 Steps to Heaven today.
I'm Jock Cranley, former Vinewood stuntman, actor, and now highly qualified candidate for governor. I hate immigrants, gays, the crippled. God, I really hate the crippled. I can't stand unions, cops, old ladies. The thing is, at least you know I'm a dick. Most people fall in love with a politician, and as soon as they are elected, they say, wow, this guy's an asshole. With me, you know from the beginning, I want to be your asshole. I used to be a stuntman and TV actor. I cannot understand policy at all. I need to reduce things to a really basic level. I'm perfect for higher office. Listen, the state of San Andreas is in big trouble. We've cared about people for far too long. I'm not extending a helping hand. I'm giving you all the finger. I will throttle the deficit just like I used to throttle bad guys. Vote for me, Jock Cranley.
This message paid for by Jock Cranley for governor.